Hey, it's Joanna Hunter here from joannahunter.com, and I am joined by the lovely Yvonne, who is one of my divine planners in Divine Planning Abundant Profits Academy. Yvonne, come and tell us a little bit about yourself and what your business is all about.
Hi, Joanna. Thank you for having me today. This is an amazing opportunity and to be able to, talk to people about my experience of the Divine Planning Group and the course and things. And yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled to do that. So I'm Yvonne Smith. I'm a bookkeeper and a profit mentor, and I help women to get control of their business finances and to help them going forward with the bookkeeping.
Oh, fabulous. And it's much needed because if you've got a business, you're going to have books.
Yeah,
Basically.
no getting away
So,
from it.
exactly. There is no getting away from that one. So, when you first came to the academy, tell us before you came to the academy, what were you like? Like, what was happening in your life? What was going on? And where were you at in terms of your business?
Okay, my business was, well, my bookkeeping business was non-existent really at that point. I had the vague idea that I would carry on with bookkeeping. It was something that I did sort of, for friends and things, but not as a business. I was a feng shui consultant and an EFT practitioner and a law of attraction coach, and I was going nowhere fast. So when I heard, I've been following you for years now, and I first came across your name in another group on Facebook, and so yeah, I've been following you and things, and following your live interviews. So I kind of thought, this is the person that I need to be able to build my feng shui business and my EFT business and coaching business. So yeah, that's where I was. I was nowhere near bookkeeping. So,
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. So, so you're in this place, you're feeling frustrated, you're feeling
Yeah.
that you're going nowhere fast.
Yeah.
Um, I obviously opened my cart to Divine Planning Abundant Profits, and you have decided to go for it. Tell us a little bit about what was, or like your main reasons for joining, and then what was going through your mind as you were making that investment.
Okay, so the reason I joined was a couple of years ago, I did a business course, a business retreat, and it was very much practical techniques to grow your business. And it was specifically for coaches, but there was it only talked to the business side of it. It didn't talk to the woo-woo side of things. And I really felt that that was missing. And so, having followed you and knowing that you're the woo-woo spiritual and business coach is like, this is what I need. This is the missing piece that I need, to grow a feng shui business completely, spiritual and energetic and things. So, not as practical as bookkeeping, but that's where I was at the time and things. So absolutely, that's why I wanted to work with you. And I remember listening to a live stream of yours, and at the time when you were talking about divine planning and abundant profits, and thinking, this is what I need, this is what I need. And I remember you saying afterwards, the investment is like, terrified. And it took me a couple of days actually to sort of think about it, and sort of, that war in your brain is like, I need to do this.
Absolutely, been there.
So, but that's what it is. It is an investment in me, and that's what won out in the end. Is like, if I trust in my abilities and have faith in my abilities to actually take action, I knew that this would work, so that investment, even though it was a large investment and it terrified me, is that if I do the work, things are going to change. And,
Yeah.
I had to trust in the universe that, this investment would be covered. And it has, absolutely, every month.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So you make that huge investment, you really declare to the universe, I am ready
Yeah.
to take the next step. I am ready and worthy of, my success. And in you come, and you come into Divine Planning Abundant Profits community. What was the first things that you noticed in the community when you got in there? Was what was your first thoughts of just even joining that group?
So the group, when I first got access to the group, you posted, welcome, move on to the group and things. And I was surprised at how many people actually commented on that post. It wasn't just, like, people actually interacted and were welcoming and things. And that was amazing, because in some groups you just get like, okay, but
yeah, it's like nobody cares.
yeah, exactly. Oh, that was a quick like. But the fact that people took the time to actually welcome me into the group and tell me what a great group it was and things, and that made a difference. That was,
Yeah,
I felt very welcomed into the community. It's not just a group; it's a
it
community.
is a
It's like a family,
community.
which is
Yes,
absolutely
yes.
wonderful.
So obviously, we are now not a feng shui consultant.
No, we are not.
So things have changed a little bit, but things have pivoted. Um, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to speak with you, because as multi-passionate, which definitely you fit that category
Absolutely.
beautifully, as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, we're good at many, many different things and we have passions in many different areas.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about your journey in Divine Planning Abundant Profits, and just really uncovering this kind of real reason in your, for you to show up in the world, and this bookkeeping coming out as being this thing that, like, actually, you know what, I'm really gifted here.
Mm. So the feng shui and the law of attraction coaching and EFT, I have a passion for those things. I really do, and I enjoy them. But what I was finding was that after a consultation, or after an EFT session or a coaching session, I'd be high, I'd be dancing around the room. That was great, loved it. Got a lot, client got a lot out of things, and then within an hour, without fail, every time, I would crash, and it would be, what if they didn't? What if they were just saying that just to make me, feel better about myself and and all this kind of thing. So the self-doubts were like huge, and I quickly realized that actually that was not something that I would get over very easily. It wasn't something that I was comfortable with. The very subjective nature of coaching and things like that. So I'm a scientist. I'm doing a PhD, and I like black and white,
Yeah,
even though
tell
science
us what
can
your
be a bit
PhD
grey.
is about, because that's really fascinating.
So my PhD is about paleoclimates and trying to figure out what the state of the Greenland ice sheet was 3 million years ago, because the similarities in the climate 3 million years ago as there is predicted for the end of this century. So it's trying to sort of decide, is the Greenland ice sheet going to melt or not? So,
So it's really about climate change as your PhD. So you're really used to looking at statistics, numbers,
absolutely.
things like that. But you have this huge woo passion.
Yeah.
So you come to this realization that really the coaching part of your business really putting you on a roller coaster that you weren't really that open and available for.
No, I didn't want
Um,
that at all.
and it wasn't something that you were really particularly enjoying, although you love
Mm.
feng shui, the
Yeah,
law of attraction, and the EFT, and as
yeah,
tools in your toolbox.
yeah,
Very, very valuable.
yeah,
So you've got this passion for bookkeeping as well. That was
yes,
kind
I
of
do.
like on the down low. So how does that make its way forward as you becoming this kind of uber bookkeeper and really understanding the needs of a spiritual business? Because I mean, here's the thing, I I can tell you from personal experience, when I first started visiting accountants, I was terrified.
Mm,
Absolutely terrified, because I am like super woo. I have a super woo business. Then I have a weird business because it's online and not many accountants understand
yeah,
that online world.
yeah,
So they don't really like, they're looking at courses and things like, and I put them under like educational expenses and they're like, oh, what's that? So obviously, and also as well, I'm always like worried what my accountant's going to ask me, because he's like going to look at me like I don't even get her, like I'm not even from her planet. So this is why I love your business so much, because it's like You get it all. You get the woo, you get the online world, which
Yeah,
so many other bookkeepers and accountants out there don't get at all. Like it's just
yeah,
gobbledygook to them. They just have
yeah,
no idea what it is.
yeah.
So tell us how that kind of emerged out of the data, shall we say?
So, like you say, I do have a scientific background, and one of the things that I'm always working with is numbers. And I trained as a bookkeeper way back in 2008. You know, I qualified in 2008. It was something that I wanted to do part time whilst, you know, my kids were really young. And but of course, you know, I got carried away with, you know, law of attraction coaching and feng shui, and oh, that's amazing, I want to do that and things. But so the bookkeeping kind of got left by the side a little bit. But I you know, spreadsheets, my life is run by spreadsheets. You know, everything's calculated and all that kind of thing, and I know where my money's going, know where it's coming in from and things. And yeah, it's an everyday thing. It's built into me, that, you know, it's not something that
And
I've
that's the
grown
funny
into.
thing with a zone of genius. Sometimes a zone of genius, we almost kid ourselves that we couldn't make money from it because it's like breathing. It's so easy. It's like, oh, why would you know? Like, surely everybody knows that. And it's like, and then you get to that point where you're like, actually, not everybody knows that.
I know. I had somebody request, can you make me a spreadsheet? And the other week, and she says, I'll pay you for it. And it's like, no, why would you do that? It only takes me 2 minutes. I can't charge you for 2 minutes. So I still have that money block, you know.
As your coach, I am telling you, you can charge for your zone of genius.
so yeah, but yeah, because my life is run by spreadsheets, it was very much, you know, um and I do love bookkeeping. I love, you know, the money coming in and the money coming out and categorizing it and see where it's going, and those kind of things. And so, as you say, I mean, I am involved in the online world. I am involved in the spiritual and woo-woo businesses, and you know, having done the feng shui and things like that, I knew how all these kind of things, you know, work and are put together. You know, one of the things I post every now and again is you know, when you go and see your accountant, you know, does your accountant look blank when you say, you know, I work with energy and attract clients through lead pages, that your entreport and things like that? And it's like your accountant looks at you and goes, what are you talking about? You know?
That's been my experience, and it is. And also as well, like they just don't, some of them just don't seem to understand the woo world at
No,
all. It
no.
kind of scares them a little bit. So like there's an I and because I don't hang out with people like that, like ever, it terrifies me to go, because I'm like there's, and I swear I think he thinks I've got like some sort of giant cauldron and I must be doing some sort of witchy thing,
Yeah.
because he's always like, oh my god, here she comes again, you know. So but it's
Yeah.
great because you've been able to sift through everything, and Divine Planning Abundant Profits Academy has given you, I feel like one of the things in Divine Planning Abundant Profits Academy, it's probably not talked about that much, but it gives you the space
Yeah.
to really see what's what. And
Yeah.
it gives you a very safe space to really sift through and find your thing.
Yeah, I
And
mean, this was one of the things,
yeah,
you know, one of the modules is all about your ideal client and quantifying who that is and things. And, you know, and then sort of, you know, talking to that person. And I quickly discovered that talking to the person that I thought I wanted to work with wasn't, you know, I couldn't find a voice, I couldn't find a message, I couldn't find anything to say to somebody about feng shui. You know, I love it, but you know, the message wasn't coming forward so easily. But when I talk about bookkeeping, obviously I could talk all day about it. So that was kind of like a real pointer to me, that you know, I had tried something with the feng shui within, you know, using the information and the within Divine Planning and Abundant Profits course, but it wasn't working. And so when I shifted that, or part shifted that, because at one point I was very much, I'm going to do bookkeeping, I'm going to help people with their energy and this kind of thing, to build their business. But, at that point it still wasn't working. And it wasn't until I made that shift over to bookkeeping only that's when the magic happened. But I wouldn't have done that if I hadn't have been doing the Divine Planning Abundant Profits. It would have been still trying to, I don't know, go the feng shui route.
I call it trying to make the certificates work, because sometimes we get
exactly.
certified in these things and then we're trying to make them work because we should be able to do it. And the thing is, I think there's a lot of courses out there that just ignore the fundamental important bit, which is you.
Yeah.
What is lighting you up? What is making you feel amazing? Because it's really easy to build a business when you feel great. It's very hard to build a business when you're not feeling great.
Yeah, if you're not in flow, it's not going to flow.
It's not going to flow, because if you're not in flow, it's not going to flow, right? So you get in there, you get into Divine Planning Abundant Profits. We've had a bunch of pivots since you've started. We're now really kind of in the sweet spot. So tell us a little bit about what that's meant for you and your family and where that's going really now.
Okay, so now that as soon as I made that declaration to the universe, it's like, I'm not going to do feng shui and the the EFT and the coaching anymore. I'm definitely going to concentrate on bookkeeping. That's where I'm happiest and that's where I flow and things. The universe just said, okay, finally, basically. And the abundance of the universe, and I'm not talking in just terms of money or anything like that, but the happiness in this household, and that kind of thing, and the release of any stress, those kind of things.
A lot of things shifted.
Absolutely, there's been a huge shift, absolutely huge shift. I mean, I'm not panicking about where am I going to find clients from, or how do I talk to these clients, all those kind of things that that's just business related. That's all gone, and actually I find that word of mouth, I've not really advertised at all, but it's just word of mouth. People are saying this is the person to go to if you have an online business that is a bit far out there in terms of what your accountant would say. This is the person to speak to, and I've been very blessed with and
I think that's something that we teach in Divine Planning Abundant Profits as well, that when you become dependable, and being dependable also means having your own personal energy in alignment, you become recommendable. And that's really what's happened. Lots of people have began to recommend you and things. Another thing that's really cool with you is you've kind of found your business bestie in Divine Planning Abundant Profits, which is really, really cool. Like that's one of the things that's so lovely in the community, because you will find people that you will just gel with and really get on, and you can even put out like a call that you need an accountability partner if that's what you want, but it was really great to see that friendship blossom, because you guys didn't really sort of super know each other, did you, before?
No, didn't know each other at all.
So it really is,
hadn't even come across each other, and then we were in Divine Planning Abundant Profits together, and then we're actually also in another group together, and we decided, she contacted me and said, do you fancy being an accountability buddy for the Divine Planning Abundant Profits and this other course? And I said, yes, let's do it. And it turns out we have so much in common. It's just uncanny.
It's so good. It's so good. And she's like, you're in the UK, and she's like all the way over in Canada.
Absolutely.
So it's like so cool. So these are some of the benefits of joining Divine Planning Abundant Profits.
Yeah.
So if tell us a little bit about your plans for the future now, apart from world domination, of course.
Absolutely. So, my plans are to grow the bookkeeping side of the business and the profit mentoring side of the business. But I also realized that people don't want to invest in a bookkeeper, or, they're quite happy to do their books themselves, in their own time and things, or, give it a go and to save some money and absolutely, go for it. But what I find is that, people are not entirely sure what that actually means. And so one of the things I'm going to put together, hopefully it'll be available at the end of October. That's the plan at the moment, is I'm putting together a course, just a 4-week course. It goes through the different parts of, keeping your books, how to use accounting software, what it means, when the money's coming in and going out, and, how to sort of categorize that income. And also, to plan for the future, plan for your taxes, because we all have taxes, and, and to plan for profit, plan for, the amount of income that your business is going to provide to you. And, and on top of that, also to provide individual one-to-one coaching, that's specific to
that person's business. Awesome.
Yeah.
And presumably you feel very confident that Divine Planning Abundant Profits Academy is going to be able to support all of that creation of that brand new course,
absolutely.
The creation of the marketing plan, the social media strategy, and everything in there.
It's like, I have, the Divine Planning Abundant Profits has helped me, with the bookkeeping side, even, just without having to launch a course or anything. It's a service that I provide, and the Divine Planning Abundant Profits has helped with that. But, with the online course, I already have something planned out, the system planned out, what I'm going to do in terms of, the marketing, and it's
brilliant.
Already there.
Yeah, so tell us, just as we wrap up here, if somebody was listening to this interview and they were sat totally on that fence of Divine Planning Abundant Profits, and they were like the Divine Planning Abundant Profits Academy, and they were sitting there on that fence thinking, I don't know, I'm not really sure, what would your advice at that stage be to them?
Do it. Absolutely do it. But you have to have faith in your own abilities, as well as, the information that you're going to get. And the information that you're going to get will, far surpass your expectations, like way more than you expect, because the support is there. And it's not just a class, it's not just a course that you do, it's all the mentoring that you get and all the help that you get. And the fact that if I post a question in that group, not only will people within the group answer that, but you're in there as well, and you reply. And the amount of help that I get from you and the others is just, it's phenomenal. And not only that, I've had questions before now that you've decided, no, I'm not going to write a reply, I'm going to record a video. and that is just beyond anything that I would have ever expected. It's the information that you provide in those videos, although it's answering my question and it is very specific to me, but it's also of use to everybody else as well. And it's not just me that you've done that for, you've done that for others as well. And I think, well, I know for sure I've never seen that in another group. So the support from you and also your team as well, it's phenomenal. So yeah, absolutely do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for chatting with us today. I'm really stoked to just keep supporting you and keep seeing you.
Thank you.
It really just feels so aligned, from the women that joined, where you were at and how scattered you were in all the different areas and stuff like that. And then just really like what's really just, it is a process, I think, sometimes planning abundant profits, and like what comes and rises to the surface. And now, I mean, you really have a business now that can build just this incredible future for you and your kids, which is, like, what an investment that you gave to yourself when you
Absolutely. And I couldn't have done it without you and the course and your team and things. I couldn't have done it. Absolutely. I'd still be in that, what am I doing?
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.